Welcome to another episode of On the Capo Stand podcast. I am your host, David, and alongside yours truly, the usual suspects. First, if you're watching us at the top of the screen, the Prince of Egypt, Ahmed. What's happening, my brother?
How are you, man? Happy Monday. Happy
Thank you,
first
sir.
week of the season. Happy everything,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely. We get to finally talk about real games. And at the bottom, the pride of Cincinnati, Mr. John. What's happening, John?
What's going on, guys?
Well,
Season's
we're
finally here.
Yes, absolutely. Exciting. There's so much to talk about. First, I would like to thank all the people that are watching us live. I would like to thank the people that will be listening to this on audio later on, and also the people that are going to watch the show later on. Our last episode was very well received, so thank you very much. Let friends and family that are Orlando City fans know that we are here. First, we are live on Twitch at On the Capo Stand, on X at On the Capo Stand, on YouTube at Davis Channel 76. On Instagram, we're at On the Capo Stand. On Facebook, we're at On the Capo Stand Podcast live there. We're on TikTok. Our TikTok numbers going through the roof at at On the Capo Stand. On Threads at On the Capo Stand. On Blue Sky at On the Capo Stand. And on audio on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please give us a thumbs up, a subscription. Help us spread the word that we are here. We're a platform for the fan. If you would like to join us, just go ahead and message us on Facebook or Instagram or on X. Those are the applications that we monitor the most. We'll send you the link. You can join us live. We can talk about whatever you want. The other thing is you can comment live and we'll read your comments and talk all about all that. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. So, on a little bit of personal news, as you guys know, I had emergency surgery back in August. I ended up, having a colostomy. And, anyways, I have good news. I saw my doctor today, and he's telling me that I'm a candidate for reattachment surgery. So I will be pooping like a normal person come March. So it's gonna. I thank God for that because it's been 7 difficult months. So for those that know what's been going on with me and see me at the stadium, obviously notice that my belly looks different. Thank you very much for the well wishes, and hopefully I'll be good to go. In the event that I miss any of the shows, the two gentlemen here will take the wheel like they did when I ended up in the hospital. I will also like to give a shout out to our good friend Jim, Mark, Lee, who I saw at the stadium on Saturday. Thank you very much for the kind words about the show, about the product that we have here. Thank you for always supporting us. I ran into the legendary Dennis Chen, who was his face graced the opening day poster. As always, giving us a lot of love. His insight on what happened at the stadium that day. It was good to see that the people that built this club back in the day are still part of it in the stands. So thank you very much for all of that. Now, guys, we're not gonna mince any words. We're gonna go to the topic that I think um, everybody wants to talk about. The game day experience. Let's start with you, Ahmed. How was your day game experience? Like everybody else, excited. How you found our house, the new upgrades. How was everything going to the stadium? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I just realized I was on mute.
All right, brother.
So listen, I had probably one of the busiest weekends I've had all year with my son's soccer. I was in Tampa. I was in Tampa back and forth Saturday and Sunday. So his last game finished at 4:30. I'm sorry, 5:30. So I was driving through Tampa like a madman trying to get to the game. Got there about 20 minutes late. Breezed through security. Security, honestly, though, with that new scanning was amazing. At least the entrance that I went to on the side entrance, right? You just walk through. You didn't have to do anything. Got into my section. As you know, I'm on the east side in that premium, the midfield east premium section. So listen, this is like first world problems, but that area is all inclusive, food and beverages, right?
Right.
I get there and there's no food.
Wait a minute.
The food,
What
like
you're paying for is not ready to go.
the survey, the trays. I mean, I get it, first world problems, but this is an all inclusive section, right? That's part of the reason you do it, and you hope that okay, yeah, we're good. Kids, my kids want to go eat, go eat. Don't leave me alone. Watch the game. With the food, they had to refill it. I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? First game, busy, whatever.
There's
So I'm
gonna
like,
be
all right,
hiccups.
let's grab a couple of waters, sit down. When they fill it, they fill it. I go back up, and we get the food. And my daughter tells me the guy just told her whatever they have here, that's it. There's no more. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So, needless to say, they sent out a survey this afternoon. Give us your feedback. And I had like a long, because I mean, come on. Like, that's literally, you're paying extra for those sections, right? That's literally what you're paying for. And I said to them, for anything else, I could have just walked over to any of the concessions, but then why those seats, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, give me a break. I mean, the selections are the selections, but it's like I said, so that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. The monitors, I love. I walked into the store. The store experience was awesome. Honestly, I went in, grabbed something, walked out. It took them more, and I'm very tech savvy. It took them a minute to explain to me that I could just walk out with the stuff in my hand and just tap the credit
Are
card.
you kidding me?
No, I didn't have
This
to
is what they
scan
did.
anything. I'm like, they have Bark. They had like the Amazon technology. So I
Yeah.
grabbed something, a jacket, and I walked out. And I'm like, I need to scan a barcode, right? He's like, no. He's like, just walk up. And he gave me a little sticker because I'm a season ticket holder
Yep.
for the
Uh huh.
discount.
Uh huh.
And I'm like, so what do I scan? He's like, you don't scan anything. He's like, just walk up, tap your credit card, walk out of the shop. I'm like, are you serious?
Bro, and I'm sorry, John.
It was
I'm gonna
amazing.
even my oldest son David came to me and said, "Dad, I feel that's like stealing. I feel like I'm stealing." And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I
And
actually had the hang. Yes,
that's what he was talking about.
I had the hanger
Wow,
still on the jacket. I'm like, what do I do with the hanger? I'm like,
wow,
that
amazing.
that was the best part. So it was like a sweet and sour experience. So yeah, overall it was a good experience game day wise. That whole part though with the seats, just like I'm
I'm
hoping
blown
that was
away.
just like a bump in the road. But it's so surprising though because it's like you have that section. You know how many people are going to be in it. Like how does something like that happen? I mean, give me a break. So
John, before you start, go ahead and read that comment that is directed to you.
Yeah, definitely. Serge Nash, good evening. John, what's your take on bao buns? So I'm guessing you saw me at the either eating one of them or buying them. They're good. We had them actually. I know I missed last week because I was sick. King Bao was actually one of the vendors that was at the Jersey launch, and so we actually had them before anybody else in the stadium did. Week prior at the Jersey launch, and they were good. I think it's the chicken, whichever one has the peanut sauce. That peanut sauce, man, oh, it knocks it
yeah,
over the top, man. Let me tell you, my goodness, they were amazing. They were really good. The buns themselves were fresh. If you let bao buns sit for a little bit, they tend to get a little bit rubbery. But they seemed fresh. The food seemed fresh. There was nothing bad about it. Kind of breaks my heart though because Cappy's was right there. I don't know if they're going to be switching on and off or not. But Cappy's the sandwich shop from Maitland. It's been up in
Yeah, shout
Maitland
out to our
forever.
friend Adam.
They were that's where they usually were at. So I'm hoping when Cappy's was kind of every other match last year. I'm hoping Cappy's comes back. Nothing against King Bao. Like I said, it was delicious, but yeah, it was good. Overall, as far as my game day experience, we walk up to the stadium. I didn't want to share that yet. Sorry, guys. Um, and seems regular outside, and then we turn the corner to go, to the supporter entrance, and we are met with this beautiful view right here. That whole line right there is all for the supporter entrance an hour before.
This is the line outside. Absolutely unacceptable.
Wow.
And it probably took us. I'm not kidding you. We turned that corner at about 6:30, Um, and
I'm sorry, John. For the benefit of those listening, John just showed a
yeah, right.
video of the line outside of the supporter section. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, sorry about that. Um, it took us all of about 45 minutes to get through that line, which,
Really? Wow.
yeah, because, and I don't know. So used to what they would do, I'm saying used to like 2017, went a couple years without going to the matches and then they didn't have it. But 2017, they used to have the entrance kind of teed off right there where you couldn't enter the street. And at the end of each of the tees, they had one of the security people there with a scanner, or you would show him your ticket. And if you weren't supporter gate, you weren't allowed in that queue. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, where we have people from out of town, new people going to the stadium. Well, that's not the worst part. That's a good thing. But the bad part is the amount of people that stand in that long line, get up, get their security check, wait for the people they're with, wait for their group. They go to scan their ticket and they can't enter because it's a supporter gate.
Right.
So they need to do so. That would eliminate a lot of that line, a lot of that mess, because instead of everybody just kind of going through, then you have to sit there and wait, and everybody has to let the people that aren't knowledgeable, don't go to matches very frequently, or like I said, it's their first time, get by them, and then it just creates a longer line. And then the other thing they were doing is the armbands. You walk through, get scanned, or do the security scan, tap your tickets, and then walk in, and they do the armbands. Well, they were doing the armbands right there where you scan the tickets, which was also causing a backup. And one or two of the doors weren't open at the supporter gate. So there was that. And then we get our seats. I go up top of the supporter section to get some drinks, and they don't have any cups or anything up there. No security guard.
Oh.
Coming out the tunnel in section 23. So what are we supposed to do? You got to carry your drinks down there.
Right.
And then, but overall, other than those two things, the match was amazing. One thing I really liked, I'm going to show another photo here that I took
brother.
in the concourse. That is, in my opinion, one of the best additions they've ever done is the TV screens on the concourse.
Yes, absolutely.
You can see the second one off into the distance there. There was one, I'd say, about every 50 feet. So once you passed under the other one, you were easily in view of the next one, which I thought was a great addition.
You know what was nice about those, John? That they actually worked.
Yeah, and they had the Orlando City match on, because if you remember,
yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Year, you'd go up to the concession stands where the TV was, and they didn't have the Orlando City match on. They had one time it was college softball, another time it was a rerun of a college football game.
My goodness. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, guys.
Before I finish, we got another comment from Serge just to finish.
Sure.
Finish off. Serge said, "Super." Had to go back myself for seconds. Yeah, man, that's if they're there. My pocketbook will be hurting.
2 thumbs up, evidently, on the bows. I gotta tell you guys, and before I say this, the purpose of this discussion is not to throw dirt on the club. In fact, is to encourage the club. Listen, if we go back to how things were in 2017 versus what things are now, there's a world of difference. I have to say, Jared Dillon promised a lot of things when he came in, and little by little, those things have been coming to a reality. And we want, Jared was out and about. I got to see him twice, making sure everything was great. And first they hiccups. Not everything's gonna be perfect, but you know what? Personally, I got there. I like the fact we went through gate B. And I like the fact that I just walked through. There's the metal detectors. There was no need for me to show my hat and empty my pockets. We just walked through. Bing, we scanned right away. It took seconds. That's why when John told me what had happened, I was completely shocked, because I was amazed that it took me a total of 3 seconds It basically the speed at which I was walking, scan for tickets, and boom, I was inside the stadium. So that's beautiful. And now that and part of me for sounding like a hillbilly that just found out about flushing toilets when Ahmed is talking about the new technology, but I was shocked. I'm shocked. I'm sorry. Listen, please excuse me. I pride myself being a cutting edge guy working in technology. I just to me it's shocking that you just grab whatever you need, you scan, see you later. That
Yeah,
you know,
that was
talking about
crazy.
trust issues.
Yeah,
And
really.
that's only at the den, though. That's not all around the stadium. That's only at the
Yeah.
den.
Correct.
Still, I
Correct.
felt guilty walking out, man. I had just paid and I still felt guilty because I was like, I had this thing on the
I
hanger and
know.
I'm
I
like, are
know.
you sure?
I know. I mean, you are not alone. My oldest son felt the same way. I gotta tell you, it was amazing. I personally, I'm not a big like let's eat whatever type of guy at the stadium. I just did what every cheapskate does. I went and got my drink with my discount, and I sat down. My kids, on the other hand, were they just I guess they just wanted to keep the wolves on in the black because they went to the concessions a gazillion times. But it was cool. Now that my kids have their own debit cards, man, forget about it. Of course, dad had to remind them they don't work, so when the money's spent, it's not magically gonna be replenished. So I had to transfer some money, but that's a story for another day. All right, guys. So there's let's talk about something a little bit serious that I would like to address because to me it was important. There was an incident where and this is you know related to the game they experienced. There was an incident where road flares, were popped in the supporter section. I have to say that we're not taking sides. We're not pointing fingers here. We're all friends, right? And I have to do this disclaimer before we show the video. That's John's section, the wall, and obviously he's going to take lead in this conversation. And we talked before the show. I trust my partner. Uh, as you guys know, I'm not the one known for being cool and collected and keeping my emotions to myself. John is usually the calm guy. And as you can see, by the way, that video, our good friend Dimitri posted it on the Facebook group. Uh, and as you can see there, for those that are watching, there was this road flares that were on the area, Raucous TCC area. Uh, I have to tell you this. As a high explosives and pyrotechnics technician in the Navy, that was my job on board the USS George Washington, Weapons Department, G1 Division, Aussie shop. If in case you are wondering, I have worked with pyrotechnics, and I can tell you that these are super dangerous. In England, they're completely banned, and in Israel, where my Israeli team Maccabi Haifa plays, they're tolerated, and people that are caught with them get bans for a few days, and then they're let back in, which I think is the wrong thing to do. But it's a Middle Eastern culture, and they're more like the Hispanic folks that we always operate on the edges of logic and safety. And anyhow, with these things, you can burn somebody really bad, catch their clothing on fire, blind them. The flares are super dangerous. I wasn't there. John was, and he's gonna talk about the experience. But I have to say this: they look cool, guys. They look cool. Trust me. The visuals were amazing. The problem with that is, guys, it's in a section that is usually populated by toddlers and children of school age, and a tragedy that is going to scar a child for life, cost somebody their life, bring tragedy to a Central Florida family. More importantly, a family in our fan base. To me, it's not worth the 10 seconds of online fame. Go ahead, John.
So yeah, like David said, I'm gonna try not to point fingers. You know, um, backstory on myself. Love the support portion of the ultras culture, the hooliganism and the fighting and everything. has no place in the sport. But the scenes that you get over in England and in South America with the pyrotechnics, you can't pay. They're incredible. They're incredible to look at. They're incredible to watch. I haven't been privileged enough to be a part of a scene like that. Look at what LAFC did last year. Yes, they got banned and the club got fined. That's a discussion for another day. And to me, basically, what it comes down to is when the clubs overseas and LAFC, I'm sure when they did it, the same thing as well. It's somebody who is experienced and knows what they're doing with a flare. Because David, I know kind of off the top of your head, how hot do those burn, the flares?
The 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They're what is called self-creating heat. There's sulfur in them, and there's another material that I can't remember right this second. It starts with an S, which means that you can't put it out by tapping it. It has to be completely submerged in water.
Yep. And depending on what type it is, depending on what type of marine flare it is, they can even stay lit underwater.
Correct.
So, but basically, so when the ultras and supporter groups from other clubs around the world do these pyro shows, they have it organized where the people that handle the pyrotechnics are experienced to some degree, where there's nobody around them, and to make it as safe as possible. And it's called choreo for a reason. It's choreographed. The loser that decided to pop the flare, I have no problem with popping a flare. And actually, where he popped it was probably the ideal location because there wasn't anybody within a 5 square foot area from him. But the problem lies is that he threw it, and he wasn't close enough to the field. I'm hoping that the individual that threw it was trying to get it on the field, was not intending to throw it into a crowd of people. Because I actually know somebody that was down that the flare essentially skimmed his cheek. Luckily, the part that passed by him wasn't the igniter part. It was the handle part, but it went right by him. And like David said, there's a bunch of kids that are down there, all of that. And trust me, if this individual is listening right now, if you think you got away with it, you did not. Because there's technology, there's cameras, there's about 50 cameras all over the wall that got you. There's cameras all inside the terraces, all inside the concourses, and all outside. So if what you did was very cowardly, don't care your intentions, don't care if you were trying to do it as a show of passion, because I think before the show, Ahmed brought it up that it ironically happened right as Joseph Martinez came on. But the way you did it was cowardice, and you deserve every ounce of the ban and fine that you're going to get, and you will be very lucky if you don't get jail time for it, because you endangered a large number of people doing it. Throwing a flare is never acceptable, no matter where. Again, we can go later on down the line, a conversation for another time about the league and the local municipality or the city and how they feel about flares, yada, yada, yada. The fact of the matter is, in my opinion, where you were 100% wrong is when you reared back and you let that flare fly over 500, 1,000 people, a lot of people, and put all those lives in danger and all their health in danger.
Ahmed, if you don't mind reading the comments and giving us your thoughts.
Yeah, we have a comment from Jim D. Jim said, I had a pretty good view. I sit right by the corner, flag on that side. Totally responsible to throw flags in a section like that. It's one thing to light it, but to throw it somewhere else is crap. And I think we are all on that same page, Jim.
One more thing I do have to say is that individual was lucky. I was not. He was behind me. I saw it out of the corner of my eye because of where I was sitting and the angle I was at and other factors. He's lucky I wasn't there because he would have been caught on the spot.
Honestly, John, I think everybody it was in that same mindset because in that area, we've had so many things happen, and then the front office comes back, and regardless of who it is, it's like it affects everybody in that area,
exactly.
Right? And so I agree with you 100%, but I think it's like they're lucky that nobody caught them because if anybody had that opportunity, I think everybody would have just been on top of them for that very reason. It's like don't take something
And I'm
like
not,
that.
and
Be
I'm not making
responsible.
a violent threat. There was no
Yeah.
security guard in that tunnelway, like I
Yeah.
said before about bringing the drinks back. I would have been helping as much, as peacefully as I could, keep him restrained. And
Hmm.
then once security got there, he was securities and the cops, because the cops came up too. Trust me,
Yeah.
the
And I
cops were
think
right
Yeah.
there within a
that's where
couple
we're
minutes.
headed. Honestly, I think, with if stuff like this isn't addressed, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see security like you do at international games, right? Where
Right,
you
right,
have a
right.
line of security facing the fans, and then you have police in different areas because that's the only way to catch it. It's a deterrent, but it's also there to address it because
No,
that's what you see everywhere else, right? At other club matches, it's not
no,
an uncommon sight. So
absolutely. And I gotta tell you, I know I have several friends who are ushers at Stevenage. There's police there for a reason to show you a good time on the weekend. And as far as my friends in Haifa over there in Sami Offer Stadium, over there you got to deal with the national police. They're like a paramilitary organization. They will crack your head open for that stupid thing. So to close this, guys, passion is definitely not a crime. I'm as passionate as everybody else. I think where we have to draw the line is where we can cause harm to another family
absolutely,
and ruin their day and probably change somebody's life for the worse.
yeah.
Just like John said, there, just so you know, there's technology in throughout the stadium to make sure that they catch whoever it is. There's no way of getting away with it, if you will. They will find out. And also, one last thing: the fire marshal and the Orlando Fire Department chief has certified our facility to pop the smoke. Those guys in the supporter groups that pop the smoke when we score and all that. That those people go through proper training. It's not people that stand on the capo stand and start popping smoke just all willy nilly. So what can happen is that the fire marshal may say, "Hey, if this happen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull your certification, no smoke, and possibly not certify the wall for people to stand there." And how crazy will it be that people that have tickets on the wall cannot be there? And then the smoke is gone.
See, I
Let's
don't
not
think,
be idiots.
real quick, I'm
Yeah,
going
man,
to comment on this, and we have a couple comments.
for sure, brother.
I don't think it'll get to that point because it wasn't a organized effort, kind of
Okay.
like what LAFC did last year. Or, to take it another step, what happened in Poland over the weekend. I'm sure a lot of people saw that, where the supporter section was it the club in Warsaw, I believe. Their supporter section was completely closed. Nobody was allowed in it. And that led to some other things, but that's the steps this can take. Imagine Orlando City Stadium without the support of the wall, which sounded on TV and in person sounded amazing. It always does for the first match in big games. But imagine nobody being there, 2,500 something seats, nobody's allowed to be in there, and we can't go sit anywhere else. You're just out of luck, unfortunately. I'm sure you'll get a refund or whatever,
Hmm.
but you're just out of luck and nobody can be there. And yeah, David's exactly right. The capos, there's certain capos that get smoke trained for pre-match and for goals and stuff like that. Which leads us right into the comments, which I can go ahead and Ahmed,
Yeah,
if you
let's go
want to
ahead
read
because
it, you can read it, and then
I
I'll.
actually
30
can't see the
minutes. We gotta
comment.
get into the games.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Talon Coca says, should Orlando City or MLS have a section for flares? Not acceptable of what he did, but the visuals look amazing.
Of course it does. Like I
Yeah.
said, it looks great, but the fact of the matter, my friend, is it's not what we want. Is what the fire marshal in the United States has deemed acceptable. Flares are not acceptable, so we gotta go by the law, and
And as
that's
far
that's
and like I said before, when the without getting too much into the weeds of why and everything,
Mhm.
the clubs overseas, it's choreographed. It's something where, and there's a lot behind the scenes going on between the supporter groups that are childish, in my opinion. Again, another conversation for another time.
Yes, sir.
But it would have to be something like you said there, where it would have to be a specific section, where they would basically have to clear the row in front and the row behind
Mm-hmm.
and do it. And they look amazing, like you said. And I do think that it's something that the league and the individual clubs need to work out with the local fire marshals and government to be able to add flares as a scene, as something that's a scene. That's kind of the next step, but at the same time, you want it to be organic and not something that looks manufactured, because manufactured support, it doesn't stick around long. It has to be something authentic. Look at David, Ahmed, and myself, and that's authentic support. We're here through through thick and thin. We're make every match we possibly can, and for it to be a specific section, is that there's a lot that goes into that. And then the trainings that people will have to do, I would imagine it'd be 10 to 20 hours of training based on what they have to do just for the smoke, because the smoke is nothing compared to the flares. The smoke bomb, it's a little pull tab, for those that don't know. It's a little pull tab you pull, sparks for a couple minutes, and you can hold it right here and essentially be fine.
Yeah.
So the flares, you hold it right here, your clothing's probably catching on fire.
No, absolutely. All right, guys. So moving on, and I'm sorry to cut everybody off. It's just we have so much material.
We can talk
and
about this all day.
we can talk about this all day. And I would like to, everybody has to go to bed at some point. All right, guys. John, if I send you the video of the highlights for the game against Calvary, and Ahmed, I would love to hear your insight here in a second. I just want to give the intro. We went out to Victoria, capital of British Columbia, on Vancouver Island this past Wednesday. Victory for Orlando City, 3-0 against Calvary. First of all, I would like to mention something. Everybody that I spoke with, Pacific FC, which is the team that plays in that stadium, and also Calvary FC, were nothing but gracious hosts. I want to wish Pacific FC all the best in their season coming up. They wear purple just like us. Their fans were very, very accommodating, very, very great host. The Calvary fans as well, and hopefully we can return the favor to the Calvary fans that make that 3,000-mile travel here to Orlando tomorrow. What this result means is that for Calvary to move forward, they have to score 4 goals or more, because again, the away rule remains. And the goals were by Duncan McGuire on the 21st minute with a filthy goal. We're going to see that in a second. And Torres on the 38th and 75th with a brace. So, John, if you can go ahead and show the tape. And Ahmed, as soon as we're done with that, we're going to get your impressions about the game.
Champions Cup competition. As Ojeda gets to the byline, the cross comes in and it's in! Duncan McGuire opens his account. He puts aside the disappointment. Ojeda's been operating all night on the left-hand side. A picture-perfect cross. And what a finish.
My goodness. Blackburn cried all night long. What do you think about that one, man?
Do you remember The Matrix, the first Matrix movie?
Of course I do. I'm a 90s. I lived through the 90s.
There was a scene when I saw Duncan score that goal. There was a scene in the Matrix movie where the girl, she got up and she was in that type of a pose, and they did like that 360 angle. That's exactly what Duncan looked like scoring that goal, man. That was, goodness. I mean, that goal for me is up there with his goal with the retirement of
what's his name? Bald-headed dude.
Was it Bradley?
Yeah, but Michael Bradley.
Michael Bradley.
Yeah, see, Michael, we already forgot about you. You're dead.
That goal for me is up there with that. It was just like,
wow.
You can't, that type of goal and this one, the chances that you're going to repeat that type of a shot, 1 in a million.
Insane.
I mean, great outcome. I was worried in the beginning. I will tell you though.
Yeah, buddy. And you know what? When they interviewed them, they said, "Hey, the pitch was wet. It took us time to get used to it, but once we got our rhythm, forget about it." John,
Yeah,
if
but
John, if you can go ahead and play the two goals for Facundo back to back, just to
yep.
speed things up, my friend. And our apologies to everybody. I'm the timekeeper, so I gotta be that guy tonight.
Facundo cuts inside and goes to the near post and it's in. Facundo Torres
Can't let that man do that.
That was a crazy goal. It didn't even look like it was going in at one
Can't
point.
let that man do that.
has given Orlando City a 2-0 lead.
It was just like, and
Oh,
he got a handle on it too. He got a touch on it.
Something
so
out
it
of
had pace. Have
Yeah,
pace. That man has a cannon.
that was
In fact, I was told that
Let
Facundo
me
had to
pull the other one
register
up
that
really
foot.
quick.
Had to
had to get
register that foot coming into Canada as a lethal weapon. Had to register it. I'm telling you, I'm from good sources. I was told they almost did not let Facundo bring his left foot into Canada because it's a lethal weapon. Uh, I'm writing a book about dad jokes, just in case. All right, so we're gonna go now with the dagger. This is the third goal that
Angulo
pretty much
keeps possession,
killed it off.
gets past two. Enrique Angulo to the byline and to the last pass and it's in.
Oh, with the header,
Torres
which
gets
we never
inside.
see him do that.
Orlando
yes.
City's third.
Never seen him do that. And look at that. Here's Johnny.
Marching
Woo.
all the
Wow.
way
Absolutely,
back
man.
to Florida. Side
So
from Enrique back to
to the
Angulo.
guys that went out to Victoria, my respects. We had a fan that flew from London to Calgary. Ironic. Calgary to Victoria, watched the game, flew back to Orlando, watched the game Saturday. Is gonna be
Wow.
there tomorrow. Is gonna go down to Miami or Fort Lauderdale Saturday, and then he's going home. That's commitment.
Wow.
That's commitment. The club should recognize that. I'm just saying, to the boys in the office, find this guy, throw a scarf at him or something. Talking about it.
Throw a scarf
Don't get me
at you.
started because
Not much
I
more
got
than
it
they
on
gave
my
us
to-do
for a
list.
season ticket member gift.
All
Don't
right,
even go there.
guys.
I do want to
You're
say one thing real
yeah,
quick
brother. Go
about
ahead.
that. I thought Ojeda looked the best I've ever seen him on
Yes.
Tuesday. And then we're going to touch on the match, the actual match from Saturday, but he definitely was a difference maker when he came in for the team. And I feel like he's forcing his way into a starting role after what we've seen the last two matches. And if that
Mhm.
continues, it wouldn't surprise me to see him. And honestly, he's skilled enough. He should be starting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a good game. We went there to do what we had to do. And then we came back. We got back in town and we faced Montreal, our old foe, in the home opener for Orlando City. I took some video of the guys coming in. If we can play that real quick. This is a short thing.
I wasn't able
Uh,
to get that onto the computer.
Oh,
To
okay, no problem.
watch.
Don't worry about it, brother. 24,000 people. We were thousand and some change short of a complete sold out crowd. The west section, which is the most expensive one in the stadium, was the one that came short. So the peoples, the working man, the supporters club, they came through. The wall was sold out. The stadium had their people. I was surprised that section one was sold out because that they took out, for those that don't know, they took out the seats. Now it's like these tables. You sit there, they bring food to you, very fancy. So that was sold out. I was sitting next to two families, first time at the game.
Oh,
I was
wow.
very disappointed that there was no goals to speak of, but they had a great time. And my friends, word of mouth is going out that we have a club and we have an experience that is worth spending money on. Okay, because let's be honest, Orlando City tickets are not cheap. So this Saturday night, We had about 24,000 at Interco Stadium. Down the road, there was about 8,000 at the Kia Center watching the Solar Bears. So this town supports clubs that win. That win. So there's not much to say about that. As you guys know, excuse me, the result was 0-0. Unfortunately, we had a goal that was disallowed. Do we have that video, John?
Yes, I was able to get that
All
up.
right, my
Yep.
friend. Let's go ahead. See that, and you guys can go ahead and give your insight on that. This is in the 79th minute.
There it is.
Smith lost it into the penalty area. There's a header that is into the back of the city. Out here. But after this header comes in, both Torres and Felipe, and the check is complete, and the goal will continue.
Ugh.
Yeah, you can see it very well, but we were offside by
Sorry about the
inches.
internet, guys. I don't know why my computer's having such
It's
trouble.
all good, my friend. It's all good. People know that if they want
We don't need to
better,
relive
a
it.
better
We
show,
don't need to
send us a
relive
check. Send us a check, baby. But no, guys, go ahead. Whoever wants to take lead, your impressions
I'll
of that.
take it.
I was there. Highway robbery.
So, I mean, obviously in the wall, that's on the opposite side, so we didn't have much of an angle on it. I've rewatched the match twice. That one, in my opinion, was definitely offsides. The one that really, really irked me that the referee didn't go to the monitor on to take a look was
Yes.
on the penalty. The
Yes,
ref called for
sir.
a PK. The assistant called offsides. I don't know if they got, I believe it was Dagger Dan or Kyle Smith, whoever was on the right side at that time, or Jacqueline in the middle. The Jacqueline one was so close, I couldn't stop the video at the right time to actually see, because it literally was a shift of the weight. He was on or off sides, and then whoever the right back was for Orlando City that was playing up the wing definitely was offsides, but he was not involved in the play. Rewatching it, obviously I had a bad taste in my mouth about the referees. Rewatching it, rewatching the match could have been a lot worse. I mean, there were some calls that we didn't get that it seemed they gave Montreal, but
Correct.
overall, it could have been a lot worse. So I'll leave it at that.
Go ahead, Amin.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, for me though, so watching the first game against Calvary, I was like, all right, we look good. So I was excited. Remember, I texted you guys. I'm like, do we look good because we're that good, or do we look good because they're making us look good?
Yeah.
So we come back to a game like this, and I'm just expecting us to come out like we're on fire. And I feel like in the beginning, again, I was worried. We did not have that chemistry. And guess what? That's our pitch. So you're not going to use any of those other excuses that we had up there. So I was just like, what's going on? What's going on? And how are we not there? And even because the first 20 minutes of the game, I wasn't even watching it. I was listening to it on my way to the stadium. Right?
It was terrible. It was bad.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I was listening to it, and I'm like, what the hell are we not doing?
Definitely.
Why are we not doing what we're supposed to be doing? It's not an
unpunished us.
You know what I mean? What's that?
Who unpunished us with his speed? It's
Okay.
really cool when he's playing for your team. When he ain't, it's frustrating.
Yeah,
I
but
still
bro, I
want to
mean,
see him and I can't think of him. What's our left winger's name? Just
Ours, Rafael Santos.
No, that's our left back, the left winger.
Angulo?
Angulo. I want to see him
yeah.
and Angulo in a 100-yard sprint.
For the
100-yard
title of
race.
the Flash.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, like really, that was my thing. That's what I was concerned about, because it's like at the end of the day, a draw is a draw. It's a point. It's the beginning of the season. But you know what? I feel like I'm giving you a whole bunch of excuses. Because at the end of the season, when we get back to it, if we're in the same spot that we were, it's games like this, they're going to come back to haunt us, right? And we're going to be like, oh, these are the, and I give all the credit to Montreal, right? But these are the games we need to win. You know, we can't say we have a team, we're contenders for this, we're contenders for that. We can't be giving up stupid games. And not to say that it's a stupid game, but every single game, and I've said it, I was like a broken record. Every single game is our final. You know what I mean? Especially the ones that should be easier for us. So
No,
for me,
absolutely.
that's the thing that frustrated me the most. I get it. The season's not over. It's not all doom and gloom. But on that same note, at the end of this season and towards the end of the season, if we're not where we want to be, we can look back at this and say it's that one point that's screwing us over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we need to. This is probably our last season was tough. This season's going to be tougher. We have more games this season than we did last season.
Yeah, we got 4 tournaments to go to.
Yeah,
We got a comment there from our good friend Jim.
yeah. Let me bring it up. We actually have 2. Jim said we started slow in the preseason 2 against Cavalry, then Montreal 2. The first 10 minutes have been terrible. Absolutely, and it comes back to haunt us. I feel like sometimes,
No, absolutely. And he had another one, I believe.
Yeah, the other one was in reference to our talk about the flares.
Yeah, he said our supporters section is literally families. It's not like other countries where it's just young men going nuts. Totally different. Again, I agree with you 100%.
Again.
I'm always there with my son, right behind that goal, and as is John. You know, so it's absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my perspective on the game itself, the refereeing aside, with the lineup that we came out with on Wednesday, which surprised me. I thought we were going to go a little more passive on Wednesday. But with the lineup they came out with on Wednesday, the minutes the guys played on Wednesday, Thursday basically was a wash of a day for the boys. It literally was just resting. And then to come out with basically the same lineup, except Brekalo was starting because man, my brain is gone tonight. Schlegel was suspended from the red card from the playoff match. 2 games in 4 days with that long of a trip. I don't know if either of you have ever flown up. I've flown to Seattle direct.
I have, to the West Coast, yeah.
My whole that whole day was gone. I was sleeping the whole day. I was, even though it's only 3 hours, it gets to be, 7, 8 o'clock at night. You've been up since 6 a.m. Orlando time, 5 a.m. Orlando. In my case, it was about 3 a.m. Orlando time. And, flying back, and then it's like, well, I left up there at, midnight, and it's now 9 a.m. It just throws your body off so much. It takes you about 2 days to get back.
Yep.
But at the same time, and the other thing is Montreal had a new coach. There wasn't much tape on them. You didn't know how they were going to come out. And I've never seen their center back play, Montreal center back, but I feel like he had possibly the game of his life on Saturday. I know that's a common excuse, as it's a goalie or somebody else has a game of their life, but he literally was. There were runs Duncan usually gets in behind that the center back was anticipating. But that being said, we're still supposed to be a better team. Like Ahmed was saying, if we're supposed to win all these trophies, these guys need to get used to playing on short rest. Because
Absolutely.
if the boys really think that they can win CONCACAF, win Leagues Cup, U.S. Open Cup's up in the air. I really hope we get to play in that. Win U.S. Open Cup. That's from last Wednesday until late August, that maybe even into September, that they're primarily going to be playing on short rest. Because CONCACAF, the Champions Cup goes to a certain time, then the U.S. Open Cup starts. Then you have about every 2 or 3 weeks is short rest because of the U.S. Open Cup. Mm-hmm. If you make the finals, you're going to have matches around for both. It's part of being a good team and the state that the sport is in right now with all the competitions, especially with MLS. And to me, it comes down to: do you prefer us to put it all on the table for Champions Cup, or do you want them? I want them to win every game. Don't get me wrong. You guys should know, the people that have watched this show knows that winning is the only option for me when it comes to competition. And but at a point, they're going to have to think, okay, do we really want to make a push for the U.S. Open Cup, or do we want to try to get move up the table in the league? Do we really want to push it for Leagues Cup, or do we want to give the guys rest because we just had 5 months of intense, insane short rest matches? So would I have did I want us to win? Yes. Was I disappointed in how they came out? Yes. But I'm happy with the way they responded. I thought the second half looked much better. I still see this team doing things, even as bad as they looked in the first half, doing things so far this season. I saw it in the match against Flamengo, saw it in the match against Calvary.
Yeah.
That they weren't doing last year positionally, the quick little 1-2 passes,
Yes.
to break the lines, to break the press. So that's positive. That's what I was calling for most of last year. The one thing I really want to see, though, is us to actually have a plan on a kickoff. We're not playing in U12 soccer where you kick it back to your center back who can kick it a mile and him just boot it downfield hoping somebody wins a header. Let's
Were
play
you
the
watching
ball.
my son's games, John?
It's called refereeing soccer for about
Yeah.
10 years when I was younger.
Our friend Eddie Cruz from Orlando Lions and Colts said Brexit football. So, but it's you go ahead, brother.
Yeah, we're this team is so skilled on paper. Everybody's hyping us up, and what do we get the first kickoff, and what do they do? They pass it back to Janssen, and he boots it downfield, hoping Duncan wins a header, and actually heads it, a very contested header against against their center back, and hopes he heads it to somebody. Like, let's work the ball up the field. Let's be progressive. Let's be the antagonist, not let them be the antagonist to start the game, and really set a tone off that first touch.
If I can be an antagonist on this one, I have to say, listen, we put that ball on frame many times.
Yes.
The goalkeeper for Montreal, God bless him, the guy had a night, and like John said, they're all reliable. Like, the guy had a night when we can't get it together. But we say here that football is a panel talent, and also the ball wasn't there. I'll take the point. 10 opening days and still undefeated. I believe the other team that had a longer streak was Real Salt Lake, 14 years, and they went down against our next foe in the league, Inter Miami, last Wednesday. We're going to talk a little bit about that soon. Like I said, I think that people left a 0-0 result, and I was talking to my doctor about this. And as you guys remember, my doctor, the surgeon that is going to perform our surgery, he's a big Newcastle guy. Never gave Orlando City the time of the day. He went to the one freaking game where we looked bad all season, and it was against Columbus. And I thought, this is it. But I was talking to him today. I showed him the picture with me and Pareja, and he's like, I gotta give it a try, man. I had a good time overall. And then he said something that I was like, this is a football guy. This is the guy that I'm gonna trust with my body because he's a football guy. He said, there's times when you have a 0-0 result that feels as if both teams scored 10 goals. And to me, I think that both teams gave everything they had. They had chance. They had their chances. We had our chances. Unfortunately, wasn't in the cards. I had two families. I was telling John before we started the show, I had two families. First time going to an Orlando City game. They saw the posters. They saw the vibe. They talked to some people. Oh, we always have a great time. And I was so disappointed. I'm like, oh, man, probably they're not going to come back. No goals. They were like, this was a lot of fun. So that tells you how at the level of our product at this point, where you can have a game with 0 goals and people still feel like they got their money's worth, because it was a lot of fun. But listen, the league is is a marathon, not a sprint. Like to the old cliche. I take the point. We move on. So with that said, Ahmed, we are tomorrow 6 p.m. I already got my ticket. I want to give a shout out to my buddy David Hunt. He's gonna be sitting with me. He got me the ticket. Thank you very much, my friend. We're gonna be seeing Calvary. Calvary. This is their turn to come around, do the big trip, and all that. Like I said, they gotta score 4 goals to beat us. I prediction. I think there you go. Thank you, my friends. But for those that are listening, we have the who will advance, and basically, you don't have to be a statistician or a mathematician or a physicist to see that Calvary needs a miracle. They need a tent revival miracle. They need prayer warriors of every religion to tune in tomorrow and lay hands on them because short of a miracle, I don't see Calvary going that with that trip coming here scoring 4 goals or more. Aside from that, I think we're gonna put out our weakest lined up because all we have to do is contain the press. Listen, it's maybe boring football, but it's football on a Tuesday night. I take it. So what you guys think? I mean, go ahead with you and then John.
You know what? We need to come out. So to your point, we should win this, right? Easily. So for me, this is a chance for us to say, you know what? Let's use this as a chance to show what we can do, get our stuff together, come out from the first minute the way we should, finish things the way we should, because like everything else, the way you practice, the way you train is the way you play.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's my biggest concern right now. The 2 times we've come out slow, and yeah. So I'm hoping for a great result. I'm hoping for a better performance than the result. Honestly, I just want to see. I don't want to. Saturday we had some amazing opportunities. It was like kept you on the edge of your seat. I will say that it was. So you see some great stuff, but it's day one still. So I'm looking forward to more.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for them to put a B minus or C lineup. Look for some of the Orlando City B guys that have even yet to have actual competitions. Orlando City B still in their preseason. Get those guys some minutes. What's
While
that?
you do that, John, real quick, who's your man of the match, man?
Galese, man. Galese. He saved our
us,
butt, bro. I mean, no offense to Dagger, but Galese saved us. He saved us more times than when I wasn't there than when I was there. When in the first like 3 or 4 minutes, he saved us like 4 times.
Five saves in 4 minutes in the first 4 minutes.
Amazing. And his last save when they got behind our lines because unfortunately, our captain, we haven't acknowledged that our captain, Robin Jansen, just mistimed it, and that could have been disastrous. But thank God that El Pulpo Galese was there. San Pedro, like St. Peter, like some of the Peruvian fans calling. Are we good to go, John?
Yeah, I mean,
If you're not, that's cool. We got another comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I can read this one.
Yeah, so we have a Pop Mango says, "Good evening, gents. Can't wait to see my Colombian Paisa have his first few minutes to get him warm up for the golazo he will score against Fort Lauderdale." And
Absolutely.
by Paisa, he means none other than Serge Nash says, "I want to see 20 minutes of Muriel and his 70 minutes of OCB." And that's who Pop Mango is referring to.
Tomorrow, yeah. By the way, for those that don't know, he got his green card approved.
Yes.
In fact, in interviews, Brecalo talked about that, the fact that, and we have said that it was sort of a guesstimation on my part, but the fact that they did not travel to Canada with the team was simply because of visa issues and work permits. So we're ready to go, for Muriel. I mean, he's coming in at the right time. I think we can give him some minutes against lesser opposition. See what we got with him. Give Duncan some a break because Saturday is the big dish. Um, that's it. We good, John.
No, so my man of the match from Saturday, because we missed that, was Gillespie. I mean, my dad commented right as we were wrapping up from Saturday. You know, Gillespie had two saves that were way more than anything the Montreal keeper did. Everything we
Mm-hmm.
hit was kind of right to him. He got extremely fortunate. There were many that they were a couple feet one way or the other. He isn't even he's not going to touch them. They were just right to his chest.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, for tomorrow night, did we read Serge's comment yet? I don't recall.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have.
I completely agree with him. I want to see Muriel come in, get his feet wet a little bit, get the legs under him. You know, he's been playing in Serie A since the beginning of for several years now, but so he should be pretty, have his match fitness, but just to get some live action against, what's a little bit lesser opponent, get him ready to come in as a super sub on Saturday. And, let the OCB boys go out there and cook like Jack Lynn, get a hat trick and, call it a day.
That's it, my friends. All right. So moving forward, and my apologies for those that feel that we're going at lightning speed, but we gotta cover everything before the 90 minutes are up. I would like to read real quick the results this past opening week. First game of the season for MLS. The opener was Miami with a 2-0 victory over Salt Lake. I will pass judgment. I watched that game, and I will pass judgment on that when we were talking about our game against Miami. Um, Saturday results: Columbus 1-0 over Atlanta. LAFC 2-1 over Seattle. LAFC, sorry. Orlando 0-0 result against Montreal, as we spoke about. DC 3-1 over New England. Surprise, surprise. Philadelphia 2-2 against Chicago. Charlotte 1-0 over New York City. Dallas 2-1 over San Jose. St. Louis 1-1 with Salt Lake City. Uh, Houston 1-1 with Kansas City. Austin falls 2-1 against Minnesota. Portland, the beatdown of the week, 4-1 over Colorado. That was Saturday. Sunday, wrapping up the weekend, Cincinnati with a 0-0, Nashville and New York Red Bulls with a 0-0, and LAFC and Miami with a 1-1 result. So, my guys, my friends, we head down south this Saturday.
Real quick, David.
Go ahead, brother.
Interesting stat that I saw on X was teams that played a midweek Champions Cup match had 0 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss, 5 total goals scored.
Amazing.
Wow.
Well, this Saturday we have a lot of early kickoffs. That means ours is at 4:30 p.m., which means that after service I'm going to be shaking hands and running out of the parking lot to go home. Uh, Orlando visiting Miami. Um, Before the guys get to say their piece, this game is gonna be not only it's gonna be free on Apple Plus, it's going to be on Big Fox. So here locally on channel 35. Um, so that's pretty cool. Miami already has 2 games on their belt, a win and a tie, and the standings in the East Coast as we speak. Uh, from top to bottom, Miami with 4 points, DC with 3, Columbus with 3, Charlotte with 3, Philadelphia with 1, Chicago with 1, Montreal with 1, New York Red Bulls with 1, Cincinnati with 1, Orlando with 1, Nashville with 1, Toronto with 1, and then Atlanta, New York City, and New England with 0. And if you care about the West Coast, from top to bottom, Portland with 3, Dallas with 3, Minnesota with 3, LAFC with 3, Houston with 1, SKC with 1, St. Louis with 1, LA Galaxy 1, RSL 1, Vancouver, Seattle, uh, Austin, San Jose, and Colorado with 0. I watched the game against Miami. At home, of course, because the league has to steal the thunder from our champions, Columbus Crew, and give them the first game of the season. I thought, RSL left them off the hook. They had the opportunity. The goal they conceded was one that it was, in my opinion, a keeper error. And then the second goal was what happens when you have a team that is chasing the game. They put all the meat on the grill, and boom, they get hit on the counter attack. That's exactly what happened. The game LA Galaxy. I feel LA Galaxy should have put
Oh,
their penalty away. They didn't. I think I believe it was Busquets that should have been sent off, but they didn't. Messi had two fouls that I believe were call worthy. They sent a LA Galaxy player away. They're down to 10 men, and magically, Messi comes in. Messi was a non-factor all game. He was just jogging. He was not helping in defense. He was not doing anything. He puts the ball on a tap in, and then you have the people that I believe, and I have never said this. I think that this Penaldo, Pessy crowd, they freak me out because they worship these people like gods. Okay, and as far as I know, there's only one. So, and it's not from Argentina. So anyhow, you know what I'm saying? It's that's how it is, brother. And to me, the problem with all that is that I notice, and I'm going 1,000 miles an hour because I want to give the microphone to the guys. One of the things that I notice is that a lot of the people that are going to comment on these things, they don't watch the games. There's some guy in India or Kenya or down in Bolivia. These guys don't watch the games. They probably watch the highlights, if that. They always post poetry motion. He's the goat. He's the greatest. There's no substance. There's no substance in the comments. The league, in my opinion, in the opinion of a lot of people, not just Orlando City fans, that it's not enough that we had to watch this team have nothing but all the preseason games, broadcasted. No other club got that treatment. Not even our champions.
yeah.
Then we have to have Messi on all publications, all merchandising, all anything that related to the league. If
Not
you
the
are
way.
a fan, if you're a fan outside of the league, you don't know there's 28 other teams. You don't know there's other players, the good ones too. And on top of all that, his games get top billing, and most of the games that are free on Apple Plus this year are the ones with Pessy on it. And I'm gonna say Pessy, Frionel Pessy, Fifanel Pessy, whoever's bothered by that. You know what? I have no respect. He's our foe. This Saturday we're gonna break his jaw. That's what I want to do because that's what we do. We are Orlando City podcast, and the last thing we will do is to go and give praise to a player that is playing against us. I don't care how many trophies, what he's done, it doesn't matter. It's what he has done in MLS and what he's going to do this Saturday that I'm concerned with. And I finish. The fact of the matter is, my friends, is that MLS is doing everything in their power to keep a man that they have a financial interest on to make
Mhm.
playoffs and to win trophies. And that's unfair to the fans that have supported this league because those fans are going to be here were here before Messi. They're gonna be after Messi, and all these goat herders and street vendors and recycling the pickup bottles in third world countries. Those guys that go there and go, oh, paint has landed in Saudi Arabia, Penaldo, Pessy, all that poetry, emotion. All those idiots are not gonna be watching your MLS. Trust me. The fact of the matter is, these Miami fans are not going to materialize themselves when this man leaves. We've already seen when he gets subbed out and the stadium empties. That's what happens with this guy. And last word, the league and Don Garber has sacrificed long-term gain for short-term success. It's not going to pay off. On the other hand, I support my club no matter what. If we go down there and we get our teeth knocked in, we're gonna do it with me saying, "Vamos Orlando, esta noche tenemos que ganar." That's how I'm gonna do it. That's how I roll because I love my club. Uh, Whoever wants to take on the microphone, go ahead,
Go ahead,
guys.
John. Go ahead, John. You go, man.
So going back to the game, the Miami match last night, Serge, stop stealing my thunder, man. I was going to say the same exact thing. My goodness, come on, man. I just saw your comment pop up in the chat.
I'll put it on the screen, John.
Go ahead.
There we go.
He's going to do that, and then Janssen's going to probably officially, make a hard tackle like he's known to do, hard clean tackle, and Suarez is probably going to announce his retirement at about 6:45 on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, man. I mean, we went through it last year. We saw that Leagues Cup game. The world saw that Leagues Cup game. We had pundits from all over the place asking why Messi wasn't sent off after that hip check on Araujo in the first half. The questionable penalty that was called against Orlando City that gave that opened the scoring for Miami, or gave them their second goal. Man, we're gonna go down there. Brecolo's gonna be in form. This will be his. I expect him to be in the match a little bit tomorrow as well. He's going to be catching his form because, again, he's match fit. He just has to get used to the club. What I saw from Brecolo on Saturday, this man, when Janssen, calls his Orlando City days of career, Brecolo is going to be right there to pick him up. And I mean, man, this guy is going to be incredible if we even are able to keep him that long. I'm expecting a Facu masterclass. I'm expecting Cartagena and Araujo to be sitting there chirping right in Messi and Busquets' ear the whole time, following Messi around like a shadow, not letting him get anything until the league steps in and calls something ghost on one of them. But when it's all said and done, we're the best team they faced yet. I don't care what LA says. They brought in a lot of new pieces. As we know, it does take a little bit of time for a bunch of new pieces to mesh and gel together. If our guys just play a solid defensive match, don't have any mental lapses. If the first goal against Miami in Leagues Cup was a little bit of a mental lapse on between Araujo and whoever the center back was at that time, as long as we don't have those. As long as we attack the way we know that they can attack and the boys know they can attack, and they go out there and they play the fun, inviting brand of soccer that we saw them play against Flamengo, 4-5-0 easily, guys. That's all I got to say. 4-5-0 Orlando easily.
For me, it's like when you look back at it, if I look at the game from yesterday, the LA Galaxy game, I want to say it was gifted to that draw was gifted to them. If you look at the red card that they had, you know why? The first foul that he got was for a delay of game. You know what he did? He kicked the ball off the sideline. When have you seen somebody get a yellow for that? The coach at the second yellow, he was saying that basically was saying that's effing BS. I don't want to say it this way, the video doesn't get, but it was total BS, that red card. And you know what it was? I was sitting with my brother-in-law. He's here visiting from New York, and I'm not going to tell you who he was rooting for, but guess what? I was like, what do you expect? They can't have their team. The MLS can't have that team lose a game like that, right? Because it was gifted to them. What do I expect on Saturday? I would be lying if I expected us to be playing a fair game, because we know we're not going to be, because everything's going to be against us. That's my opinion, right? Because it was the last time we played them. And at that point, I lost any kind of respect for the refs, for the league, because it was so blatantly obvious. We need to play a game just like the one we did, where it's so blatantly obvious that unless we do something totally obliviously wrong, it's a win for us regardless of what happens when we walk off that pitch. I expect a win. I want us to show what we can do, 100%. But I don't know what we're up against outside of the 11 players on that pitch, and you all know what I'm talking about, right?
I agree.
We don't know what they're going to... I mean, I would never have said that. I never would have thought I would find myself saying that, but we all know that there's other forces in effect, and we've seen some crazy-ass stuff be called. So it would not surprise me. And now the easy excuse is, the ref, because of the whole situation with the refs. Okay, the ref sucks. it's a bad call, blame it on the ref. But we all know at the end of the day, the ref, somebody still has to pay the ref,
Right.
regardless of who they work for.
We're playing a
Right?
game in the middle of the week. They are obviously resting, although they had to go all the way to California to play their
Yeah.
game. I know that this episodes when we are about to play Inter Miami and after get more views, more downloads than anything else that we do all year long. Um, I expect everything negative. I expect the shenanigans of always. People send off penalties that never happen, cards on our guys, no cards on our
Mm-hmm.
guys. I expect everything. I actually go there with no expectation. I go there with no expectation because again, you cannot tell me that this is a setup. They put us with Miami early in the season. Um, when they play us, it's a Wednesday night. So if you care about classicos, derbies, you care about building a fan base. Why in the world will you put the Orlando game on a Wednesday that you know is going to be poorly attended because people got to work, people that live out of town, it's going to be very difficult for them to come into town. That's what's going to happen. Okay, and chances are that Messi's not going to come to Orlando. Personally, I would love to see him live. To check the box of all the greats that have stepped in on a football pitch that I have been blessed to see live. And unfortunately, this is not going to be one of them. And I just think that it's going to be a circus. It's going to be the same circus because, or Inter Miami is an organization. They have something stuck on their side. They are not the most popular football club in their state. I have traveled all 67 counties in our beautiful state, and I can tell you that Orlando City fans outside of Central Florida outnumber theirs. We still have people loyal to this club in South Florida. God bless them. God
There's a
bless
reason
them.
Fort Lauderdale's their little brother, David.
It is
You know,
what it
and I
is.
mean the league knows they only have about 2, maybe 3 months of the enter Barcelona retirement community for retired footballers to be out there before their bodies break down. And in the League's Cup, that's their only shot
Yep.
at getting back in the Champions Cup. They're not going to face Tigres because we're going to take care of Tigres in the second round. But when they face one of the clubs from Mexico or from one of the Caribbean countries, those clubs aren't going to take it. They'll start chopping legs. They play a
You
different
already
breed.
experienced that in El Salvador, my friend.
Yeah. So I mean, the league knows they have a limited time, just even this year, not even going into next year, where they're going to sell tickets, where they're going to have eyes on it. They know probably by late March into April, they're going to start to tire out. Suarez isn't going to be able to play because his knees aren't working. Messi's going to have another fatigue injury. And, that's why they put us on that's why they put it on a Wednesday night, because they're like, oh, well, we don't want the eyes of the world to be on this match when Messi and company aren't even going to play. Orlando City's going to march out there and beat these guys 7-8-0 because you go past Messi and Alba and Busquets, they don't have anybody. Who do they have on their team? They didn't make any decent signings this year.
In fact,
They
they have
don't
to get
have
rid
any
of people.
depth. You watch that defense, their defense is not much better than, there's college defenses that are better than theirs. And I mean, it's like, like Ahmed was said, or both of you said, the league has all their eggs in this one basket. And that's Inter Miami right now. When they leave, all these kids that are wearing the Inter Miami shirts, all these people all across the world that are wearing Inter Miami shirts, they're not going to be anywhere. My son, Ahmed's son, David's son, all are still going to be wearing their Orlando City shirts. My son last week was so excited. He's only 2 years old. Literally every morning he woke up, usually he was right as I'm leaving for work. And he kind of mixes Orlando City and the City Go. That's what it sounds like, a City Go. He would wake up and look right at me in his crib and go, City Go? No, it's X amount of days away. Miami's never going to have that. Miami's going to be a defunct organization because Beckham thinks he's going to get the pretty boy treatment like he got in LA. Every single drop of the hat. It's not going to happen. This league is already bigger than one player, even though the league doesn't want to admit it. The fans want change in a league with roster structuring and salary structuring. People in the media want change. And it's going to, Messi's going to leave and they're going to be, back to the bottom feeders like they were for the first 3 or 4 years of their existence. So we do have a couple comments that we
Go ahead.
missed.
And then after the comments, Ahmed, if you can give your final thoughts on Miami so we can wrap it up.
Yeah, so let's see. I think we showed this one.
Yep.
Yeah, so Suarez done. Let Schlegel take care of the retirees.
For sure.
Serge, this is all Serge. He said, I've heard not once about Garber boys praising OC for not bending over for Pessi's team last year. Shocker. We will break them. And then that's from Twelman and Co.
I agree.
So I will say, Serge, I do disagree on that. I heard Twelman on a podcast right after we played Miami actually give us the credit because I think it was after they played Nashville in a match. And Nashville's captain at the time, I can't recall his name, took a picture of his shirt.
Oh, yeah. Orange County Zone, the McCarthy.
Yeah. And he said, he went on. It was
Max.
One of Twelman's little rants where he gets the really high pitched voice and everything. And he actually did give Orlando City props. He said there's only one MLS team not to treat Messi like a celebrity. They treated him like he was an opposing player. Nobody knows except for people around Orlando City who got Messi's shirt. It was Santos, by the way.
Yeah.
He didn't post that. You wouldn't know. There's a 21, 22-year-old walking down the tunnel. Messi's trying to talk down to him, and he doesn't take it. And all of a sudden you see Messi, take a swing or shove him once they get down the tunnel. You didn't see that with any other team. This team, and I'm going to say this, David. I thought you would turn the corner on Poppy. I listened to the guy. I haven't been on for 2 weeks, so I got a lot to say, guys. Last year, almost exactly a year ago, I was so down on Poppy. But listening to that man speak, the interactions David had with him, the way they changed their play, last part of last year, the way they've played, except for Saturday, but the way they've generally played and the things I've seen, man, Poppy has me believing that this is a special group of players. I've watched sports my whole life. There's only been a couple teams that I follow that I've had the same feeling with that I have with this group of guys. These guys are going to shock the world this year, and it starts Saturday down in Fort Lauderdale, playing Fort Lauderdale. We are going to shock the world. Poppy has these guys. Poppy wants this game. Poppy, none of those guys have forgotten what happened in Leagues Cup. Every one of those guys want this match probably as much as they wanted that match against Columbus.
Absolutely. More.
These guys are going to come
I would argue more.
What's that?
I said I would argue they want this one more.
Exactly. Because all the attention's on them. Yeah, we've gotten a couple pats on the back. I like Orlando City to, where people are saying that we're going to win the MLS Cup and this and that and the other. But, the one thing I learned playing and then a little bit of coaching I did is you got to take it one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Calvary, we can't take it easy. Tomorrow night against Calvary. We're going to bring the OCB guys. We're going to have our thoroughbreds in the stables waiting in case. And then come Saturday, and Poppy will have these guys. We're at home tomorrow. We don't have to travel at all. Tomorrow's going to be a walkthrough day for most of the thoroughbreds. They're going to have essentially a full week worth of rest. And then we take the little 2.5, 3 hour drive to their garbage bin of a stadium, and the fans will be gone by halftime. All the Miami supporters, all the Fort Lauderdale supporters will be gone by halftime. They'll have to use their microphone. It'll be on the probably 4 or 5 individuals that are left in La Familia. And, I am looking for an absolute massacre on
You gotta
Saturday.
make a statement. Ahmed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't reinforce anything more than what John said, but we have to go there. We have a message to deliver. This is the first actual season game we're playing against Messi. That he actually decides to show up to a game, unless he and the rest of his retiree flamingos decide that they need the day off. So yeah, I mean, this is like a grudge match of grudge matches. We can't let it go. It's going to be an uphill battle, and that's it, man. I
For
have
sure.
no doubt that we can do this. My only concern is the external factors we have going against us, but that's going to be obvious. That's going to be obvious now, like it was back then in the Leagues Cup match. It's
Mhm.
just we'll see, we'll see.
Absolutely. The final thoughts on this, in my opinion, if we're speedy, if we punish them with speed, with double team Messi, our attacking players are in sync, our goalkeeping is on point, and we make them work for it, I believe that we can get something out of this game. Um, I will also, uh, real quick, it was part of our topics, the season ticket member gift. I thought it was poor. It was really crappy. Probably one of the worst scarves we ever had. The patch cheap. There was nothing in there. If anybody remembers the 2019, with the beautiful scarf with all the particular club moments and the scarf, and then the little tin painted tin can. To me, beautiful. It's a collector's item. This, what I thought the last season ticket member gift on their Flavio's leadership was poor. And I described that at the time as somebody going through a Dollar General, picking things off the floor and putting them in a bag. This was so effortless. This reminded me of myself on Valentine's Day with my wife. I just last second gas station. Here's a card and a box of some stale chocolates. I mean, this was really, when I saw that, I literally was yearning for the days when they were sending that license plate frame, that $2 pasty frame that said like season ticket holder. It was like purple. Guys, if you can hear me in the club, you gotta take care of us. We are out here doing you free press. You pay us nothing. The guys, the stadium was filled because of word of mouth from your supporters. Okay, we can't continue heading in this direction. I'm not asked. First of all, I don't need more scarves. I before Orlando City, I lived in Florida. I had one scarf that lasted me a lifetime. Right now, I own 30 of them. I don't need more scarves. So let's try something different. Let's get something a collectible, something to remember the season by. I would rather get a little army man, the figurine or something, than a scarf that I'm never gonna wear because the scarves are so horrible. They're like solid purple, like you can't even read what he says. And then the patch. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The patches, big miss. No, I've never seen anybody put those patches on. And if they are, you're a nerd. Go ahead, man.
You know, you know what? My expectations were very, very, very low, so I wasn't extremely disappointed. But yeah, man. I mean, there's so you know what? It's not even. It's about it. When you said like with your wife on Valentine's Day, it's not about what. It's the thought that counts, right? And that's what it is.
Well,
It feels like there
if
was
that's
little.
the thought that counts, they don't think of me very nicely.
But that's what I'm saying. It feels like there was so little thought put into what it is that they're giving. There is so many things that they could have done easily to make it more valuable. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It's just something different, right? There's so much that they can do. I mean, come on. It's Orlando City. On that note, before I forget, I'm working with something with our friend Diego from the Team Outlet store to maybe get a discount at that store for all our listeners.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, man.
Look at
So
you.
stay tuned for that. I'm hoping that I can work that out with him and figure out the details, and I'll let everybody know. But this way, season ticket holder or not, you'll get a discount on the merch over there, and he's an amazing guy. So
That's beautiful.
I just thought about that right now. I totally forgot to mention it earlier.
That's awesome. That's
If
awesome.
anybody's listening with little kids, at least a year ago, we were looking for stuff for my son when he was only a year old. They actually had onesies and stuff like that are extremely difficult to find at the Den. Anywhere they're hard to find, they had them at that store.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I say the following, Ahmed or John, if you guys can get their address, we'll just gotta go ahead and give them a shout out.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
absolutely.
they're down by the entertainment district.
Definitely. I'll go
I
ahead
want-
and comment on the season ticket member gift.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations weren't sky high after the joke that they did last year.
Yeah.
We got a patch that David and I thought the same thing when we got them. I thought it was like a
Boy
thing
Scout.
you set your drinks on the table. It ended up being a really thick patch.
It was cool, Quinn. Come on.
The biggest disappointment, I will be honest, the biggest disappointment, I don't even know where it is, or I would show you guys, is you would have at least expected the patch to be the commemorative patch for the 10th year.
Oh
You
Yes.
got one Thursday if you bought it. If you last Thursday, if you bought it, or 2 Thursdays ago now, if you bought a jersey, you got one, or if you just asked, they would give you one. I was kind of hoping at best we would get the glasses, the pint glasses.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
literally just that.
Come on.
Just that. Pint glass, put the 10-year anniversary sticker on it. Done. Those glasses cost you guys $2 a piece to make.
They had that for the 4-pack of tickets. You bought a 4-pack of tickets and you got the 2 glasses.
That was the Rocks glass. Yeah, that was nice too. Something like that.
That, like, come on.
Yeah,
like, really.
It's not that, Jared, it's not that hard, man. I know you pay attention. It's not that hard, man. You bumped into my son. You were very gracious with him. Gave him a high five Thursday. I was over the moon that you gave my 2-year-old son, a moment of your time when you were getting swarmed by people at the jersey reveal.
The reveal.
But man, come on, you guys got to try a little harder. Yeah, we're not Society 21. We're not necessarily a member of the supporter groups, but there are a number of people like David and I, for one reason or another, that have been here from the start, that have been here since 2011, 2012, 2013, that for whatever reason couldn't do season tickets back then or in 2015.
Couldn't afford it.
But we
Couldn't
have
afford
them now because you're in a spot in your life where you can afford it. Like, you got to take care of your own. I worked in golf. Everybody that's watched us knows I worked in golf. Every year we had a member guest. And one of the biggest things that it appeared to me anyway, and I worked at clubs. I worked at clubs where there were billionaires. I worked at clubs where there were millionaires. And I worked at clubs where there was the modern day, Joe Schmo like the rest of us. The biggest thing the guys wanted to see on the day of the member guest, which is the second biggest tournament of the year next to women's member guest, is their tea gift. The first day, each cart had one for the member, one for his guest. They wanted the tea gift to be something that they could use and that they knew was from that. The scarf and the patch that you guys are giving out this year, the club's giving out this year, is a joke. Shows you don't care about the regular supporters of Orlando City, and you just brush us off and collect our money.
Mm-hmm. That's it. So we're real. We keep it real. We love our club, and when we say about the good things, we also have to talk about the bad things. All right, my friends, we're a little over our usual, but there was much to talk about. If you can make it tomorrow at the stadium, be there. I'm gonna be in section 130. Supporting the boys, and for all those folks that are heading down to Fort Lauderdale, we wish you travel mercies. Have a great time. I know a lot of people are trying the train, the Bright Line, for the first time. I envy you with all the good envy, because I see my friends in England and in Israel doing the train on away days, and I tell you what, I am dying to do that myself. I want to give a shout out to our friends of OC Fan TV. collecting our reactions outside of Gate C on central, northwest, northeast side of the stadium. I was there with my nephew and my kids. We had a great time. So be on the lookout on YouTube. They should be posting that this week, and then you get to see me. And I would like to encourage all of you to go and support the guys and collect the experiences. I think it's part of folklore and the culture of our club. And maybe 10, 15, 20 years in the future, we can look at those reactions and have a good laugh. To me, the ones with the kids are very important because back then they'll probably be parents themselves, and how wonderful will it be, like I said, to look back and reminisce about that. Also, the guys are having lives during the week. You can join those, talk about a bunch of topics, and they're gonna have a watch along for the game against Inter Miami on YouTube. I've been to a few of them. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of people. So go ahead and support those guys. See, we spread the love because we're lovely people. Guys, any last words before we say goodbye?
Not that I can think of. I'm about talked out.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my
We
goodness. Yeah, I know. We talked
we
about a
said it
lot
all today, man.
for sure. And Serge, I saw your messages. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for always supporting us. So we're gonna say goodbye as the only way we know how, by reminding you that football is cruel and unpredictable. It's a pound of talent, an ounce of luck. Football is not played on paper, but on grass. If football has not made you cry for joy or for anger, have you ever real football? From John, myself, Ahmed, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!